Tell me again about Caroline.
I'm 54 years old. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for the last 29 years, been together for almost 37. We have 2 children together, 23 and 24. I've been working out all my life, especially after I had the kids. I gained about 50 pounds with each of them, so I hit the gym pretty hard. I've always been in shape, but as I got older, I realized that things just started to slow down a little bit for me. I didn't have the amount of energy that I used to have. I didn't have the will to want to go to the gym like I used to. So I sought some help from my gynecologist. She put me on some hormones that didn't really work out that well for me. She recommended that I go on an antidepressant because it was a little bit frustrating and I was feeling a little sad about my situation. I didn't want to do any of that, so I asked a friend and she recommended Dr. Breen's office.
Tell me the story of your health journey.
When I was younger and I had the kids around 29, 30 years old, I was able to do a lot of things with them and go to the gym and be active. I was also very much sexually active with my husband and we had a really good relationship. But as I got older, everything kind of changed. Hormones would kick in, everything kind of slowed down. I didn't have the energy I used to have. I didn't want to do the things that I really enjoyed doing because it just felt tired all the time. And so when you seek help, when I sought help for this type of things that I was going through, I didn't get the proper help that I needed. I felt like they just kind of pushed off regular medication. My doctor wanted to give me what she gave everybody else. And it just didn't seem like it was a right fit for me because it didn't work and it made me feel very anxious. So I just wanted to make sure that I take care of myself properly, and it seemed like the conventional way was not working out, whether it was because it was just geared for every single person the same thing, and I felt like my body was not like every other woman's body. I felt like I needed something very specific for what I was going through, and there must be something out there that I could do to get me back on track. It's depressing getting older because everything slows down and you just don't feel like the same. On the inside, you're young, but you just don't have that type of energy anymore. So when I came here and I sought the help here, and things dramatically changed in my life. I felt like I could do the things I used to be able to do, including sleep, which was a major setback, not being able to sleep. The minute my body started to hit menopause age, I felt like I just had to write it off to getting old, or I had to combat it with the proper medication. So when I came here and I started to take the hormones that I was prescribed, it really felt different. It felt like they were geared for me and what I needed in my life at the time. And they have worked wondrous on my energy level, sexual activity level, everything from sleeping at night to being able to function during the day, to go for a 3-mile walk and not have not be tired all the time. It's nice to be able to have that.
Can you describe your first impression of the Breen Center?
Very friendly, very warm, very welcoming. I felt a little hesitant to talk about all the different things that are very personal because as a woman, I'm always taught to keep things like that to myself. And especially being Armenian descent, I was always taught you just don't talk about things like sexual activity and getting older and menopause. So the minute I walked in here, I knew it was kind of like a safe space. I could talk about whatever I wanted to talk about because these people here were here to help me figure it out without any judgment, without looking at me like I'm going crazy, but just really being very understanding and welcoming.
Tell me about the day you realized that treatment was working.
Okay. Well, I do know that when I came in here, there were a lot of different things that I needed to take. And at first it was a little overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. But knowing that each thing had a purpose. Each pill I was taking had a specific purpose, made it a lot easier, and they explained it thoroughly. So there was no question about what I was being prescribed. So that's, I think, really important, because sometimes you're prescribed things and then you're not informed on what you're really taking. That's a problem for women, because a lot of times we are given something from my gynecologist. We're supposed to just trust their opinion and what they're prescribing, but we go home and we take it and there's a bunch of adverse effects to it. And it's kind of like, too bad that's your only choice. There's really no other choices for you, because this is the only thing that's been approved for you to take. So I think it's important to preface all this with that. The other thing I noticed was I was taking the hormones in the morning, the estradiol in the morning, and I was taking the progesterone at night. I slept for the very first time. It was amazing, because normally they give you sleeping pills. If I told my gynecologist I'm having trouble sleeping, she would prescribe sleeping pills. And this was a natural progesterone hormone I was taking from the Breen Center that I just slept the whole night, not even interrupted. And that was the most amazing thing, because not being able to sleep, coupled with the fact that my energy level during the day was slow, this was a huge factor that I noticed. The other factor I noticed is I had more energy throughout the day. I was able to wake up in the morning and just feel like refreshed. And when I would take the estradiol, I did feel like I had a lot more energy throughout the day. And the relationship with my husband got a lot better, because I was in a better mood. I didn't have the hot flashes throughout the day. I didn't feel irritable like I used to feel. I mean, it took a little bit. It wasn't like immediate. It took a few weeks of taking the hormones, but I did feel a huge difference after a few weeks of taking hormone. And I lost a little bit of weight. I think the weight loss came because I had more energy to go out and do the exercises that I didn't have the energy to do before.
So what are you doing now that you couldn't do before?
The most important thing in my life that I have to highlight, I mean, besides the sleep, which is awesome, besides the energy, which is great, I can work out a lot more than I used to be able to. I feel a lot happier. That's another issue I think we need to touch on, because when you're in that state of feeling tired, not being able to sleep, you're moody, you're cranky. The hormones have definitely helped with all that, so I do feel more upbeat. I am a lot happier. But I also think it's important as a woman in my age group, married for a long time to my high school sweetheart, to emphasize the fact that when you are going through hormone changes, sexually you just don't want to be active at all. You want to stay away from things that are uncomfortable. And when I was going through the menopause and I was having hormone changes, I just didn't want to do anything that was painful. And it's hard for a lot of people to understand that we don't talk about this issue at all as women. It's important to discuss it. It's important to understand that it's natural to feel disconnected from your husband when you're not sexually wanting to be active because it's painful. The hormones have definitely helped with that, because it's no longer feels like a chore. It doesn't feel like it's going to be painful. It does feel a lot more simple, natural, and enjoyable like it used to, and that's the way it's supposed to feel. So I feel like our connection together has definitely improved in that, because I feel a lot better about it.
How has your life changed since becoming a patient at the Breen Center?
The biggest part of my life that has changed is, like I said before, is the relationship with my husband, and also medically. Sexual activity was always so painful, and the fact that it was painful added to me getting UTIs almost every single time after we had sex. I would have to get on some kind of antibiotics because I would get a UTI. And I know that that's common because I used to work in the vitamin section at Whole Foods, and I would get women my age group coming in all the time saying it's their third or fourth UTI. They don't want to get on antibiotics. What can I recommend for them? It's sad that that's what we have to go through. It's almost like you have other products that you can use to enhance, but there isn't really a clear hormone that your doctor prescribes to you, that you will not end up having UTIs just because you have sex. I think that's an important factor, because so many of these women that would come in and talk about this, their third or fourth UTIs, didn't really talk about how they would get those, didn't really seek the help of their doctor. So coming here, I know that as soon as I got on the program, that was no longer a factor for me. It's been about a little bit, almost a year, and I haven't had one UTI since getting on the hormones, because it doesn't hurt anymore to have sex with my husband.
Question is what would you like to say to other people who are considering partnering or joining our practice? People who are on the fence?
I would say, watching this video, watching what I've been saying, these are just words from a woman who's gone through this process. But I've lived a life where I've had a lot of choices. I have a very good insurance policy. I can go see whatever doctor I want. I've always sought the help when things have not been exactly the way they needed to be for me. But I've never been given the proper answers. It's always something where, well, you know, you could take an antidepressant, or you could take the patch, or you could take a progesterone pill. And when I would have adverse effects from that, there was no other options for me. It was almost as if they have completely forgotten women that are going through menopause. You have a lot of help when you're going through, you know, having a baby, getting pregnant and all that. There's a lot of care involved. But once you hit the age where you have all these hormonal changes going on, nobody wants to really help you. Nobody wants to talk about it. There's one conventional system for every single woman, but we're not all the same. And these don't always work for us. So if I were to say, why should you try this? Because you really have nothing else to lose. Everything else out there is not, if it doesn't work and you don't have other options, this is another option. And this option is natural. I haven't had any adverse effects from it at all. And I'm super sensitive. I'm allergic to a lot of different things, including pain medication, but I'm not allergic to any of the things that Dr. Breen has given me. And the concierge type service is incredible. There have been times when I have texted him and he has texted me back. And the nutritionist that works here, Kat, she's awesome. If I have any questions, I can call her. I can't even get my doctor to call me back, the conventional doctor. So it's important that when we are, as women, going through this process of our life, that we are not forgotten, we're not ignored. And you never once feel that you're forgotten or ignored. You always feel like they're here for you. They want to take care of you. Whatever it is you need, whatever questions you have, it's immediately answered back. And I love that about this place.
For more details and information, please contact us at 877-721-0047 or visit the FAQ section of our website at www.breencenter.com.